Did you know that the Israeli army is way more than just an army? It has a tremendous and positive impact on all of Israeli society. Shalom, friends. This is the Keeper Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe, and please keep the conversation going down below in the comments with any questions or anything you want to add. So the Israel Defense Force, the IDF, was created right after the creation of the State of Israel in 1948. Up until then, for the few decades before that, there were different smaller Jewish militias that were necessary and created in order to defend the Jews living in this land against attacks from the Arab community here. Upon the creation of the state, one of the first things that the first prime minister, David Ben-Gurion, does is he creates the IDF. Out of these different militias, says there's no more space for militias. We are all together, one nation, under one name, under one uniform. And the IDF was created right away and fought the second half of the War of Independence, which lasted up until 1949. Now, the IDF has a tremendous impact on Israeli society. First of all, there is mandatory army service here in Israel. There are places and times for different obligations for various reasons. We won't get into that right now. But the law is you turn 18 and you finish high school, you have to go to the army. And that has a tremendous power of unifying the nation because everyone lives in their own kind of bubble, right? Some of the city people live in the city, the people living in the country live in the country. There's all kinds of different ethnic groups here in Israel. Even though it's the Jewish state, you have Jews who come from Moroccan backgrounds, Yemenite backgrounds, European backgrounds, American backgrounds, and the like. And this way, all different kinds of Jews come together and they're serving together. They're standing one another. They're defending the country together, side by side. They rely on one another. And it creates a tremendous bond between people who maybe normally didn't get to meet each other up until that time in their lives. So it has this very strong unifying impact on society, which lasts well after the years that people serve during their mandatory army service. Another positive way in which the IDF, the Israeli army, impacts all of Israeli society is you have all these 18-year-olds who are serving in the army. You know, maybe in other places in the world, people at that age are going to college and spending half their time going to parties. You know, here in Israel, at 18 years old, you're waking up super early. You're doing what you're told. You're learning incredible skills. You're learning leadership. You're learning responsibility. You're learning the value of personal commitment and obligation to your people, to your nation, to your country. These are incredible skills and incredible values that once again will last a lifetime, will go with each of those soldiers past their army service into their everyday civilian life. And that has a tremendous impact on society as well. One thing in Israel we talk about it is there's the term Rosh Gadol, which literally means big head, but it really means taking initiative. Don't wait for someone to tell you what to do, or don't wait for someone else to do it. Just go and do it. You see this in day-to-day life all the time in Israel, where if someone needs help or something's happening, you have a whole crowd of Israelis around that person or that thing right away, trying to figure out the solution, trying to help that person. It's an incredible thing to see. You see it with your own eyes, like all the time here. And that really stems from the IDF service that people are taught you can do it. Yeah, you might only be 18 years old, but you can do it. We trust you. We support you, and we're relying on you to do it. Right. And I guess the last thing I'll share in terms of this, topic of how the IDF is so much more than just an army here in Israel and really does have an impact on society is that kids here in Israel, because they know that they're going to be serving in the army, and their parents know that, and their teachers know that, and the community knows that. And therefore, kids are given responsibility and a space to be leaders earlier on, probably than most places in the world. Right? The youth movements here, or youth groups as they're called in other places, there's no adults working there. Right? The oldest person is maybe 20 years old. 19 years old. The rest of them are all teenagers running the show for the younger participants in the youth movement or youth group. And that's very Israeli. And that very much connects to the army, kind of a pre-army service, right? To get them used to the fact that, yeah, we believe in you and we trust you and we're giving you space already to be leaders. So thank God for the IDF, right? A tremendous and powerful force of defense for us here in Israel. We know how much we need it. We have enemies on all borders, on all sides. But it's so important to know, and I think also just really interesting to know how much the IDF is so much more than just a defense army, right? Has really been such a shaper of Israeli society as well.